Good evening, everyone. Thank you for attending. I'd like to call the meeting to order of the regular City Commission meeting of October 15th and ask all of you to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Start with a roll call of the City Commission. Mayor Pro Tem Jenks.
Present.
Commissioner Rozelle.
Present.
Commissioner Elder.
Present.
Commissioner Olsman is slightly delayed and will be here in about 10 minutes. And I'm Mayor Paul, present. Approval of the agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I'll move that we approve this evening's agenda as presented.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the minutes. We have 3 sets of minutes. We have a motion to approve. There were revised, I'll comment, there were revised sets of the minutes placed at your desk this evening for a couple of spelling corrections.
Mr. Mayor, I'll move that we approve minutes from the regular meeting of September 17th, the special meeting of September 17th, and the special meeting study session of September the 25th.
I second.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Communications. We have a couple of communications. Both of them are resignations from some of our boards and commissions. Do we have a motion to accept with
Mr.
thanks
Mayor, I
for their
move
time?
to accept the resignation of Susan Kozik from the Senior Advisory Committee and Jeffrey Samurai from the Huntington Woods Historic District Commission with appreciation and thanks.
We have a second.
Second.
Any comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. County Commissioner or elected officials, we don't have any of those with us this evening. So moving on to public participation. This is an opportunity for the public to comment on a non-agenda item. Seeing none, public participation is closed, and we'll move on to the regular items of business. Amy, do you want to start us with the SACWA Articles of Incorporation?
Sure. We are members of SACWA, the South Oakland County Water Authority, and they have Articles of Incorporation that were drafted in 1952. And their attorney has gone through, made some updates, some corrections, brought things into line with the way the SACWA operates right now. And the cities that all are members of SACWA need to adopt the Articles of Incorporation. And I had the city attorney review them as well, and she did not have any problems with the changes.
We have a motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
Any public comment or questions? Any comments or questions from the commission?
Mr. Mayor, I just had one, and that was on the summary of proposed changes at the very bottom. There's a nice spreadsheet here. It references addressing withdrawal, and then it's got a question mark after it. And I'm not exactly sure how, I mean, not that we ever would, but is withdrawing from membership at some point, if it became necessary, just not addressed in here? I didn't see it, and I just wondered why that is kind of hanging out there at the bottom where it says address withdrawal, question mark.
I don't believe it's addressed in this. I don't believe it was addressed in the last articles as well.
I think it was court case over.
don't know that it's necessary, but I just found it interesting that they commented on it, but there's no related article that talks about it, and I didn't see it in the actual document itself. Maybe it's not important, but, I mean, what would our mechanism be if we ever needed to withdraw at any point? If it's not referenced in the document.
It doesn't address it. The only thing it really addresses is dissolution of the entire entity.
Right.
It was either in Sacra or Saqua that there was a withdrawal in a court case
Oh, that's
relating to
right.
Madison House.
That's right.
So, I mean, it may have been in Sacra, and they may have raised the question, you know, how do you withdraw? What are your obligations? What do you take away?
Do we think it's an issue? They have a section on adding new members,
Right.
but not on members leaving.
Our only option would be to contract directly with the city of Detroit, and I just don't see us having any kind of leverage over the city of Detroit like we do with the authority, which is why we're in it.
Yeah, but I guess and it may not ever happen, but if there was a larger authority that somehow came by and it was more advantageous for us to, because of rates, you know, move into a different authority that had more leverage with GLEWA, maybe we would want to do that at some point, you know, and I don't know that that would ever happen, but if this is before us now to look at, maybe we.
Is there a timing issue on this?
We'd like to get it approved as soon as we can. That's all. I can address that tomorrow with Jeff McKean and get an answer, but that doesn't help today.
Yeah, and I could call Bob Davis about it as well.
We have a meeting tomorrow, but we can't put this on the agenda, correct? Because it's a special meeting, so.
Do you feel comfortable with us approving this subject to your final approval, Carol?
Yeah, I mean, this is how you've been operating so far, under an arrangement like this, but I can certainly contact them and say,
What is
we
the
need,
process?
yeah, we need to add a process here.
Great.
So, okay.
So, Mayor Pro Tem Jinx, is that okay to add to your
That's fine,
motion?
that's
That's subject to city attorney's final approval?
That's fine.
Acceptable?
Can
Any
we
other-
take a vote?
Hmm?
Take a vote?
Any other comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2 is a matter of consideration to approve the fire insurance withholding program.
Pretty straightforward in the letter. There was a statute that was passed that permits a municipality to notify the state that they want to participate in the program. What happens in the event of a loss is the state will then withhold a certain percentage of the funds, up to 25%, up to $12,000. And, you know, for the city's benefit, just in case somebody doesn't complete the demolition or what might need to be done. Most of the communities I know do participate, because it is helpful. You hate for somebody to take all their insurance proceeds and take off, and you've got a half-burned building or something like that. So I would recommend that you do this. And we weren't able to find that you had actually done it before, so I'd just like to get you on the list.
I'd like to move the acceptance of the recommendation of the attorney to join the fire insurance withholding program.
I'll second that.
Any public comment? Any other comments or questions from the commission?
I just have one, Mr. Mayor. So let's say that a resident's home burns down. I read in here that it has to be a structure damage greater than 49%. So, you know, a significant
Right.
fire. And so because we've sent this notification to the state, that puts homeowners insurance companies on notice that we're participating. So it's kind of an automatic thing. It's not like our fire department has to file with an insurance company. The insurance company will know based on us registering under this
Correct.
program. Great. So that kind of takes the burden off of us and they know we're participating.
Right.
yeah, we wouldn't want to be in a situation, I agree, that this isn't in any way punitive to, you know, residents. It's just a temporary holding escrow that in the event that the building isn't taken down, we can do that. And as soon as they can prove that either by contract they're taking it down or they actually take it down, we release the escrow. So it seems like it's pretty routine, so I'm comfortable with it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 3 is approval of the City of Huntington Woods Recreation Program registration status change. You want to talk about it, Amy?
Sure. So, we have a Latchkey program, and it is available to residents of Huntington Woods, the Royal Oak residents that live on this side of Woodward, as well as teachers in the Berkeley, that teach at Burton that do not live in Huntington Woods. And that had never been an issue until the last couple of years. We now have a wait list. We don't have enough capacity at the recreation center for all the kids that need Latchkey. So it was brought to our attention by a resident that we were giving preference to non-residents, giving them the same ability to get into the Latchkey program as residents. So this recommendation went to the Parks and Rec Advisory Board, and they recommended that a tiered system of registration be put in place where residents would have the first opportunity to register, followed by a window for Royal Oak residents and Berkeley School District teachers, but with the caveat that families that are already participating in Latchkey or teachers that are already participating in the program will be grandfathered in to the program. So that this would be a change in the registration policy, so it's before you to, for your consideration. Did I summarize that right?
You did real well. And it won't be just Latchkey either. I mean, the camp programs are also affected by it, preschool programs, swim team, so it would be across the board. So yeah, and grandfathering in those, it's a small handful of Royal Oak section residents and as well as teachers that are currently in the program. So that small handful would be carried over as long as members of their households or future members will be participating.
We have a motion.
I will motion to accept the recommendation from our Parks and Rec Advisory Board on this new policy for recreation program and registration status.
I'll second.
Any public comment? Okay, seeing none. Commission, I just want to make sure I understood you right, Mary, on the grandfather clause. If someone has a child in the program right now and a younger child that's not in yet, that household is
That
grandfathered.
household, the household, yep.
Mr. Mayor. And generally, you know, this is a school district provided function in other schools, but there's a long history of the city providing the service, and it's very popular. And but I think, you know, in light of our discussions that we've had at subsequent meetings where this program is subsidized with tax dollars from Huntington Woods residents, you know, it only seems fair until such a time as a tax subsidy doesn't exist for this program. And I know we're going to move down the road of having our rates looked at, you know, across the board, rec programs, fees that are charged, et cetera. Until that time exists, I think this is a fair and equitable policy to make sure that the taxpayers who are subsidizing the program are given, you know, first priority. And because this is a new thing, it doesn't harm anybody who's currently participating. You know, they're grandfathered in. So, you know, as a commissioner, I've heard from a number of parents over the years who were upset, to say the least, that they were on a wait list or their children didn't get in to the Latchkey program. And so I think that going to the lottery was a good and fair move, and I think that was appropriate. And now I think this is a further step in the right direction. So I have no problem supporting this.
Mr. Mayor, I really struggled with this one. And Principal Crable's in the audience, she understands. I've had conversations with parents from the Royal Oak section, teachers who are beneficiaries of the program. And it was a struggle for me because even though the Royal Oak residents don't pay our taxes, they contribute and are part of our community in so many different ways. They are, in the PTA, they're volunteering in the classrooms, they give to the men's club, women's league activities. They are very much a part of our community and the fabric of the school. And I'm one of those parents that, I'm not a PTA president, I'm not on the board, but I appreciate all of those parents that do serve on the board, and some of them don't live in Huntington Woods, so they do contribute other than in the tax base. And while we are a very inclusionary, community, we also have to be fair and equitable, as Commissioner Roselle mentioned, to our taxpayers. So when you look at this as a tax policy, it makes a lot of sense, but I do want to really recognize that this section, even though they are not a part of our tax base, they are still a part of our community. And so I think the grandfathering is a really fair and equitable way to make this transition. Burton, with the help of Principal Crable, they are trying to see if we can get Pit Stop, which goes to 4:30, to be extended to the full 6 o'clock. There's no promises right now, but there are efforts. We as a city have also been working with the state, with Mary Gustafson's efforts to try to see if we can change some of the configuration at Rec Center, and unfortunately, we are just completely maxed out and out of space right now, and those enrollments are based on square footage. So we've turned over every single rock at this point, and unfortunately, that is the situation that we're in, but I do think that this is fair and equitable. And I'll just say one last thing about teachers. I think teachers should be put up on a pedestal, and we should be helping them in every possible way. So I'm really glad to see that they are, grandfathered in and will be taken care of, because they are giving back to the community, and even if they're not taxpayers, they're helping us raise our children. And if there's anything that we can do to help them achieve a better work-life balance, to focus on their jobs, they have staff meetings that go till 5, they're on the phone, talking to parents after school and preparing for their class the next day. So these are the things that went through my mind, and I just want those families that are impacted by this new schedule to know that this was not a decision that I arrived at very quickly. It took a while for me to get comfortable with this, and knowing that there will hopefully be a solution to help those working parents and teachers, I am very comfortable with what's been recommended. We will be moving till 6 o'clock next year.
Mr. Mayor, I want to let Commissioner Olsman know I talked as much as I could at the beginning of the meeting to slow things down for you, so we're at a good spot.
Well, you should have talked more, Mr. Roselle.
Sorry.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to item number 4. Matter of considering approval of the City of Huntington Woods 2020 recreation camp rate increase that was recommended from the Parks and Rec Advisory Board.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the fruit camp increase for 2020 as recommended by the Parks and Rec Advisory Board.
Second.
Any public comment? Comments or questions from the commission?
For the city manager, when do we see potentially, outside firm looking at these rates and adjusting them again? I mean, do you feel like if we brought in an outside firm, in another 6 months, we'd be looking at these again, or do you think it's something we could put off for a year? I just hate to do back-to-back increases if it's what we think would happen.
Yeah, I would go ahead and do this now because it's something that we want to be able to put into the newsletter, which of course, starts